do have our guest in the studio. The publisher of the Niche newspaper, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, joins us live. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Well, we could be fine, although why we're not too fine is because the stories that sometimes you hear, you know, as a journalist, sometimes can get you in a state of worry. I mean, we're looking at insecurity. Olive did take one story from what Nigerians are saying about the
retired major who
and the pastor
was killed, 76-year-old man, collected 10 million naira ransom from his family, and then left his body for the family to pick up.
And here we are again in Delta State. The students are also saying that it's now a trend where they abduct students, ask for ransom, and then sometimes they kill them.
Last week we discussed that here. It's amazing when people come to gaslight their fellow Nigerians for complaining. The truth of the matter is that Nigeria is quite insecure. And look, in Benue State alone, there are over 1 million people living in IDP camps in their own country that claims not to be in a war. People living in IDP camps. So what happened to the ancestral homes?
Sorry to butt in. That's what one of our guests said who joined the professor. Said those in Benue State, they've been living in IDP camps since 2014. For 2 decades.
So you know, it's sad where Nigeria is. And imagine that we have a crop of politicians who don't lead, who don't provide any vision as to how we can get out of this mess. All they are interested in 2027, all they are interested in every other politician decamping to their political party, and Nigerians are clapping. We are in it together. If this country fails, it's going to fall on all our heads, and nobody is going to be better for it.
It's a problem.
Okay, let's go into the Daily Independent newspaper, beginning with that. Speaking about politics, I'm sure Mr. Amaechi will not like this headline. It says, after God, my loyalty lies with Tinubu, says Umahi. Obi accuses Tinubu others of orchestrating Labour Party crisis. Daily Independent's front page, the big stories, macroeconomic gains at risk as parallel FX market stress grows. Still on the front page, we see here, PFAs turn to creative industry to reach informal sector. VCs get knocks over delay in processing students' academic record. Jandor leads Lagos PDP spokesperson, other party chieftains to APC. I'm sure that you're not surprised to see that happening. It was expected. It wasn't about where is he going to, it's about when is he going to the APC, when is he announcing his official decampment. Wike rallies PDP stakeholders, warns against disunity, says no opposition party can survive without cohesion. Presidential aide Aliu Audu resigns from Tinubu administration. I think that's the story we'll start with, but let me go through the others. NNPC warns against fake representation claims. Serap urges Tinubu to stop Wike from shutting 34 embassies. But let's start with the presidential aide Aliu resigning from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration.
Did you read the reason he gave for resigning? What did he say?
You know, he doesn't want to be a part of, you know, the state leaning towards a one-party state.
So, and what is there to say? People who have conscience can't but disagree with what is going on. Look, I won't get tired saying this. It's a different thing if the Tinubu administration, or in fact, if we go back to 2025, the APC that has been in government since 2015 has provided Nigerians with quality leadership that people say, look, why can't we identify with those who have made our lives better? The question I continue asking, let that Nigerian who claims that he is better off today than he was 2 years ago, let him raise his hand. Let that person honestly raise his hand that his quality of life is better today than it was 2 years ago. That all the indices of human development, that any of them is pointing north since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office. If we stretch it to 2015, let that Nigerian, because, you know, even the Tinubu administration, members of that, this administration admit that the 8 years of Tinubu, Buhari, years of disaster, they have said so themselves, that they made a mess. And you see people coming to tell us, okay, Buhari used 8 years to blame PDP's 16 years. So what excuse does the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, what excuses do they have for not delivering on the promises they made prior to their election in 2023? So the man who is resigning, will I say he has a qualm of conscience?
I was about to ask, do you think it's reflective of his integrity? Remember that this is not the first aide we're seeing resigning. Hakim Baba Ahmed had resigned earlier. The special advisor to the president on political matters had resigned earlier as well, saying that he didn't think the administration had the necessary tools or maybe the drive to fight poverty and the likes, right? So he basically did not believe in the mandate of the party and didn't want to be seen as one of those politicians that move from political party to another. So when you hear of individuals like this, do you think it's reflective of their conscience? Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Anjuri Ngelale was sacked. And he was asked to go because of the rift between him and Bayo Onanoga. That of Baba Ahmed, I don't have any sympathy for him. In the first place, I don't know why the guy went into government. In the first place, because he should know. If you engage Baba Ahmed, you will appreciate the fact that he is a very intelligent man who knows what the issues are. So when he made that move, that he was accepting to be an head of the president, and of course he was seconded to the office of the vice president, I was asking myself, does this man know what he is getting into?
Maybe he thought it was an opportunity to effect change.
That move was too opportunistic. Look, how are you going to effect the change? How? Okay, he got in there and found out that he could not even make one change and had to quit. So when he's talking now, people are not going to take him serious, just like I'm not taking him serious. Because, look, there must be principles in this country, in our politics, for us to move forward. We must have political actors who act on the basis of conviction, not opportunists.
Maybe like the ones in Akwa Ibom who have refused to move with Governor Eno. Let's take this call from Prince, calling from Abuja. Good morning, Prince. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead. Oops.
Oh, what's that?
So yes, you don't have sympathies for Hakim Baba Ahmed. Do you think maybe that the commissioners who refused to move with Governor Eno are standing on business and principles?
I would rather say they are, because look, the only thing that made, if you go through all the what we call in local parlance, dogotorunchi, that Akwa Ibom State Governor taking Akwa Ibom to the center, Akwa Ibom being a major contributor to the national economy, and therefore they don't need to be outside the center and all that. The only reason why Governor Eno became to APC is political survival. He thinks that with Akpabio as the number 3 citizen in the country and the kind of clout that APC has, if he continues to be in PDP going into the 2027 elections,
nothing for him.
There's nothing for him. So his joining APC is personal political survival, nothing else. So to come and tell us about how and so what? Didn't the man, his predecessor, he was not part of the center, in quote, when he was governor. Did Odom not deliver? Did Odom not succeed in getting him in as his successor? So what's all these stories? Is there any evidence that Odom did not deliver on his promises? So, and you know, look, Akpabio was governor of Akwa Ibom. Don't forget. And Akpabio prides himself, even till tomorrow, as a man who delivered on his mandate as governor of Akwa Ibom State. On which political platform did he do that? PDP. It's not APC. So when people take, I've argued here that it is immoral. Some people say there should be no morality in politics. I disagree, because even amongst thieves, there should be some honor. Look, you can't take mandate given to a political party and whimsically transfer it to another political party.
So I think that this may be the norm until we have maybe some form of judicial legislation that establishes this, a fresh judicial legislation, because we're seeing that happen. That was sort of what happened in Rivers State when the House of Assembly members elected on the platform of one party, moved to another party, and then decided that they are coming back to the party that they initially left. And Governor Siminalayi Fubara was expected to take their moving up and down back with folded hands until the president had to intervene. And look, here we are, state of emergency. So it feels like we're setting a standard for how things will be done in the nearest future in Nigeria. I mean, it's already happening here, but this will be the norm. People will be elected on one party. People will start using political parties like vehicles, get into office, then go to the party that you genuinely want to be with.
It is still part of the lack of integrity in the political space. The Constitution is quite clear on conditions that can warrant a lawmaker to switch political camp. And there is a penalty. Yes, that Constitution is silent on the governor or deputy governor, but it is very explicit on a lawmaker. You lose your seat. You lose your seat. Unless there's a split in the political party that brought you to power, or there is a merger. Those are the conditions under which you can switch political loyalty. But here, because of the level of impunity, it has become a norm that you wake up in the morning and the judiciary is not helping matters. You go to court, the courts won't give any kind of ruling. This democracy, the way it is going, we are endangering collectively the politicians and the judiciary, we are endangering the very essence of what is our democracy, and the norms are being eroded by the day. And why that is going on, people are clapping, people are dancing, people are not seeing the danger inherent in what our politicians are doing. Well, let's watch and see, but we are not going anywhere with the way this. Look, what is it that APC has delivered in the last 10 years that will make anybody leave his political party and join APC?
They have delivered presidency.
Yeah. And a whole lot. But let's take a look at still the Daily Independent. There's a story there that I'd like you to react to. Jandor leads Lagos PDP spokesperson, other party chieftains to APC. I don't know if you've seen the video where Jandor said, the spokesperson said they've collapsed the structures of PDP in Lagos. I don't know. I think we have that video. Let's hope we can put it up so we can watch briefly. It's also one of the stories on Daily Independent, and then we can take it. Let's see if we can get that video up and put it up there so that you could react to it as well in line with the story that we have.
While we are waiting for the video, you know, there is...
Okay, let's watch.
Okay.
In Lagos State, PDP structure in Lagos State from ward, state level, and align with His Excellency Jandor to become NF to APC.
The incumbent publicity secretary of the party of PDP, who happens to be the spokesperson of PDP in Lagos, who is authorized by law of the party and of the country Nigeria to speak for the party in the state of Lagos, has just spoken, and he has informed us that the entire structure of that party is collapsed and they have moved en masse into APC.
I don't want to use the word abused. I think the most used word in the past 4 months is align. To align. To align.
How do you know what align yourself? You have to align with the center. Like now, if you look at this, our wide clip, you can see that Mr. Amaechi is aligned.
Okay, so you're aligned. Yes. What's your take on this?
You know, again, I am not surprised by what Jandor did. There is this in a school of thought that believes, and I think rightly so, that all the PDP candidates in Lagos State, all of them, without exception, there have been moles of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the party. So during the primaries, he takes one of his boys and he pushed them to PDP. And that is why Chief Bode George, that is the leader of PDP in Lagos State, has always disagreed with the governorship candidates that emerged in his party. Don't forget, in the 2023 election, Bode George did not support Jandor.
Yeah.
Bode George supported the candidate of the Labour Party,
who he said was supposed to be in the PDP.
In the PDP, and the candidate
as well.
So, Jandor, with due respect, and with what he has done, those who claim that he's only but a mole, an APC mole in the PDP, with what he has done, I'm not too sure that anybody can fault that allegation. So he's gone back to where he came from, and what's new? And what's strange about that? He's gone back to where he has always been. Don't forget, he was a member of APC, and he claimed that he quarreled with Ashwaju, that he didn't like what they were doing and all that. Came to PDP, supported by Atiku and others, because I remember the day he declared, Atiku and co, PDP bigwigs, were in Lagos. Whether they don't appreciate, like President Bola Tinubu hurt him, but the truth of the matter is that he is politically smarter than most other Nigerian politicians.
That's why they call him the master strategist.
And that is why he's gotten this far. And that is why if they don't take their time, he will beat them to the game again in 2027.
And then also beat them again to 2030 if care is not taken on.
It's as simple as that.
So there's really no influence here. We should not worry about whatever it is that Jandor is saying. We had Dr. Pierce on the show come and give us a history as to why Bode George did not throw his support behind Jandor. And the number of things that he said, he talked about how Jandor had sort of beating the fingers that fed him. He tried to play politics his own way. It's a lot of stories that I can't go into now, and how he esteemed himself more highly than he actually was to the party. And the party leaders did not do their due diligence to investigate him, only to find out later that what they ordered was not what they got.
I don't know why they don't get it. Honestly, I don't know why those who call themselves politicians don't get it. You don't need to be a Nostradamus to know that somebody like Jandor cannot play the role he played. And nowadays, he's gone back. He's gone back from where he came from. And anybody who did not see this coming perhaps does not understand what it means to be a political juggernaut in Nigeria. It's not about integrity. It's not about morality. It's about your ability to play politics by the standards that have been defined as what makes you a strong man in Nigeria.
Okay, let's look at another paper, the Punch newspaper. The Punch says, defections. Hurricane Tinubu sweeps 12 more senators and reps. APC courts 4 PDP governors, 10 Akwa Ibom National Assembly members to join ENO, 2 Edo Nasarawa senators to quit SDP and Labour Party. Tears joy as Nigerian pilgrims depart Saudi after Hajj. Obi sparks firestorm over Tinubu's subsidy figures. And then you can see the big, massive advert there. President Tinubu commissions International Conference Center, Abuja today. Remember that some days ago, Nyesom Wike had talked about how there's going to be a series of commissioning, and the front page of the paper had, like almost every day, there's one commissioning or the other. So we'll come back to that. I want us to be able to touch all 3 papers this morning. Let's look at the Daily Trust as well. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, the big story there, flood residents resist evacuation, seek help. Okay. Defections push APC members to 68 in Senate, 207 in reps. Poor emergency services dog Abuja FMC. I'm trying to, okay, yes, this is the story we started with today. I don't know if you saw that video of the young man who had the accident. We'll probably play the video. Inside politicians' pilgrimage. The Daily Trust is shady for this. See the headline. It says, inside politicians' pilgrimage to Bodilon. This is so shady. Obi, what I would have done differently, he had granted an interview on Rice Television where he spoke about what he would have done differently regarding removal of subsidy. 7 killed in Sokoto IED blast. Another Tinubu's aide resigns. Money my husband kept for Nigeria vanished, says former First Lady Miriam Abacha. Can you imagine? Who vanished the money, Mr. Amaechi?
You ask him.
How did the money vanish? Eh? Okay, before we get into that, I think we should start with...
Okay, we've talked about that.
Is there any story you particularly want us to speak? I mean, there are a number of stories here. I don't have the details of this one. I'll probably look it up while we're talking about the flood and residents resisting evacuation. I'm not quite sure I have the details of that, but I'll look it up while we're speaking. But let's talk for now about the poor emergency services. If our producers can please play the video that we started the show with, about a young man, a Nigerian citizen who on his way saw somebody else who had had an accident, picked him up, and a number of people who had had the accident took them to FMC in Abuja. And this was how he was treated. Let's play the video.
What are you doing? You don't understand what? I have already bring the patient here. Do you want me to do your work? What are you saying? Oh, it's not your work. You are on camera that you are saying it's not your work. You are on camera. You are on camera. You are saying that I'm recording you. What nonsense? I just assist some people. People are nearly dying. I just assist them. You say, can't you call them? See how this guy see his situation. See his situation. It's something that you are recording, so you are record. I just see some people on the road. I just assist them. You are saying that one. Must you open the car? It's open. Huh?
Where is what's his name? Elijah.
Inside the car.
When the man was saying for over 15 minutes, this person has been there. They first gave excuse that they don't have hand gloves, but you could see the nonchalance and the lackadaisical attitude by which they approached this. Let's get your thoughts on the story.
It still boils down to the, we don't have value for human life in Nigeria. People dying does not make any difference to anybody. Of course, this is not new. We have seen instances where people go to the hospital, instead of attending to them, they are left to die. That's because they don't have money or nothing. Look at the video that we've just now watched. In any other country, this ought to be an emergency. And as soon as the person is brought, the emergency services will be activated. You will see wheelchairs or anything.
Everybody, all hands on deck.
And the person being evacuated, if it is to the theater, if it is something that needs surgery. But action is taken. We have seen in situations outside this country where people have respect for human life, where there is value. You see people even having accident, and they're evacuated from the scene of the accident via helicopter so as to quicken the rate at which the person is taken to the hospital. Here, there's nothing. Look at the nurse.
Very nonchalant, almost like
nonchalant. It doesn't, and if that man dies there now,
life goes on.
That's the end of the whole thing. So there's a whole lot we need to do. Will I say reorientation, or will I say this thing? This is an emergency. See somebody who is bleeding, an accident victim that a good Samaritan had brought to the hospital. You would have thought that the worst was over. At least the person had been taken to where he ought to get care. And look at what is going on. 15 minutes, no attendance. And instead, the nurse is there looking for hand glove, as if the person who brought the victim is going to provide the hand glove. A friend of mine once now told me how his wife was delivered of the baby inside his car at the hospital premises, because in fact the doctors and nurses could not come out to bring her in. And those stories are there. We've had situations where people who have bullet wounds have been left to die without attending to them because doctors are demanding police report when it has been stated clearly that you don't need a police report. What will happen? The person is already there with you. Why don't you treat and then make the calls if you suspect that he is
a criminal or something?
A criminal. But you must save life first. But here we treat, because death does not diminish us as it diminishes people in other climes. What does it matter? Over 500 people, or at least let's go by official figures.
200 bodies.
200 bodies have been recovered from the Mokwa flood.
Speaking about flood, there's even another one. Unfortunately, we don't have time for that now.
We have a situation where a retired army officer, after people had taken 10 million, was left to die. And they were called to go and meet your person, only for them to get there and they saw
dead body.
The corpse. Olive, I can assure you that's the end of that story. I can assure you that's the end of that story. The dead will bury their, the living will bury their dead, and those who perpetrated this crime will go away with their loot. So we are in a very, very bad place. We are in a very, very bad place. In areas we ought to declare emergency, such as security, we are not declaring emergency. Instead, we are declaring state of emergency in Rivers State. And people are saying that that's okay because you are either playing ethnic card or you are playing the partisan card. Nigeria, like I said earlier, belongs to all of us. And unless we do something to salvage it, to dig ourselves out of this big, terrible hole we are in, all of us are going to suffer the consequences. It is as simple as that. Look, a country where life that you cannot replace does not matter, doesn't make any difference to anybody. People move on. You wake up in the morning, 70 people are slaughtered.
100 people.
So,
and people just move on.
I think people have become desensitized. Death has become normalized. And again, we always would ask on this show, what is the value of the Nigerian life? That's a question that we're going to wrap up today's show with.
It has no value.
What is the value of the Nigerian life?
Zero value. I tell people, don't allow yourself to be killed. In fact, the only duty you owe yourself as a Nigerian is to stay safe. Don't allow yourself to be killed, because if you die, you've died for nothing. You have died practically for nothing, because nobody is going to ask after you. Nobody is going to say, what happened to this citizen? What happened to this man? Who killed this man? These people that were slaughtered in their sleep, who are responsible? Look, the tragedy in Plateau State, no, okay. about 2 months ago.
Yes.
Who is being tried?
Nobody.
Who?
We're talking about Plateau State. Just the 5th of June here. Was it 5th of June? Yes, we celebrated the anniversary of the killings in Owo. My friend lost both parents in the church when they were shot.
Yeah.
What has happened to
Nothing.
them?
So
killers?
Who is being tried for those people? Instead, you will see government officials going to plead for calm. Accommodate your neighbors.
You know what? We have to leave the show now. We have to wrap up. It's just really a sad note to wrap up the show. But whether or not we refer to it as sad, it's the reality of Nigerians. And our responsibility here is to amplify the voices of Nigerians and, you know, make bold the cries of Nigerians. So we'll be back again tomorrow to continue with fresh stories, but Jasiri comes up right after now. Thank you for joining us. I am Olive Emodi.